See, with relation to employment and robotics, if we understand, or automation on a whole, if we understand, the global survey says in 2017 and 18, it has been said that if the automation comes into, because of the midpoint automation that will come in across the globe, major countries or the major economies, they will have the replacement of the employees, right? Majority of the companies, they will have a reduction in the number of employees, and it is major of them, they will have a 11 to 20% reduction, which is being expected. For maximum reduction of the employees that can take up, China will have a reduction of 67% of the employees that can be reduced. India, countries like India, where at least a 40% manpower or the work power would be replaced. That is one very basic bitter fact which is being spoken of with robotics. It is also been said that with the onset of the robotics or automation, at least a 9% of the total number of the manpower hours, a 9% of the total manpower hours would be automated all across the globe. That would lead towards 40% of loss of employees in the companies also, right? That is actually 15% of the total manpower hours would be lost by 2030 in the current scenario of the automation, the midpoint of automation which is being created across the globe. So a global decrease of 15% of the hours, the manpower hours, and 9 to 10% of the manpower hours in India would be taken up. Majority of it will have an influence over United States and Germany, and Indian citizens or citizens of Indian origin, they are also employable over here in these countries, where there would be a sheer loss of employment of those which are Indian natives or people of Indian origin. They would lose their jobs in these countries also, and that would also create one major problem. This would not only be a local problem, rather it would become a greater problem, rather it would become a global problem also. It is also said that with the onset of automation, there would be some type of the jobs that would increase, rather some type of the jobs would completely be gone, like the unpredictable physical labor or unorganized physical labor will always be decreasing in advanced countries, and though they would be increasing in developing countries in the initial sets, but the unpredictable physical labor, they would all be decreased in the advanced and the developing countries also post 2030 as expected. The predictable physical labor also would be decreased in the advanced countries or in the developed countries also, whereas though it has been said that there would not be any form of the loss of jobs in that nature, but the current state of the scenario says that India or countries like India will also see a loss of such employment. Like the jobs like office support, they would also see a constant decrease. But rest of the employment, it has been said that the professionals or the care providers or the builders, managers, educators, tech professionals, creative, they would see an increase of employment or employment opportunities, right? So the data do says that there would be loss of employment or loss of employees, but it also says rather there would be a transition of the employment. One type of the employment would be transited to another type of the employment rather, or there would be an improvement in the skill set. So it has been said that it would not be a sheer unemployment which would be generated, rather it would be a transition of employment. It is said that nearly 75 to 375 million people across the globe, it is a huge amount, nearly 3 billion people across the globe, they will need to transit from their jobs, they need to transform their jobs, and that would be an improvement in the skill and the nature of the jobs that would be taken up. So this, rather, if it has been said, if it has been objectioned always that automation, robotics, artificial intelligence, etc., they are the job killers, rather they are not the job killers, rather they are the job improvers, they are the skill developers. They will transform the nature of the jobs, better nature of the jobs would be created, the job opportunities would also be higher. That can be proven with certain data sets. First thing first, if we look up to the automation related change in the current work activities, it is said the percentage of the current work activities would be displaced by automation. Of course, they would be displaced by automation, right? Or there would be a transition in the nature of jobs, and it has been said countries like India, major of them, US, etc., we have seen this thing 23 to 25%. In India, we will have a 9% decrease in the total nature of the jobs that have been created. This we have seen earlier. The classes of the or the type of the jobs in future, what would happen post 2030, what would be the nature of the jobs that would be available, and how the things would flare. If you look up to this particular data, if we understand this thing, then these are those which are marked as the red or the orange ones are those where we will see the loss of the loss of the employment, and this would be the scenario in India. If we will see in countries like India, the loss of employment would be far lesser for either care providers like doctors, nurses, child care workers, community and social workers. Rather, their employment would increase by 100%. Right? Community social workers, they may have a lower increase, that would be near to 25 to 41% increase in the jobs, but their jobs would not be lost. Similar would be the condition in this case for the educators, these school teachers, the education support workers. Their jobs would not be lost, rather their jobs would become much more improved or much more favorable with the onset of automation, right? Because then automation will help in as an assistive tool over there. Right. Also over here, the executives, managers, their jobs would not be lost. Rather, it will improve their effectivity and efficiency also. Then the account managers, engineers, scientists, etc., they would all their jobs would also not be gone. Right. But mind you, these are all those natures of the jobs which are highly qualified jobs or skilled jobs already, where we require higher education. We have to come down to those jobs also where we do not have much amount of these skill sets developed, and then a nature of the job is being created like agriculture or pottery or carpentry or such type of the jobs that we have to see also. But over here, like the legal support workers, those who support with the analytics or with the development or idea of the crime related data, all those things, that analytical job would be lost even in all the countries, even in countries of India also. Right. Then other jobs, other nature of the jobs like professionals, computer engineers, computer specialists, rather their jobs would increase. Architects, surveyors, construction workers, crane and the tower operators, rather their jobs will also increase in the construction and the building agency. There would be an increase of 5 to 11% rather. The creative nature of the jobs like the artists, etc., their jobs would also not be gone. Entertainers and the media persons, media workers would not be gone by 2030, at least post 2030 the evaluation would be taken up, their nature of the jobs would not be gone. What would be impacted at an adverse condition over here would be the agricultural graders, equipment operators or the agricultural laborers, right? This is one very basic problem that can appear over here. Rest the nature of the jobs, again the machinery installation, repair workers, agricultural field workers, their nature of the jobs would also be lost. So significant loss of the employment would be seen amongst the agricultural workers. In countries like India, and in countries like India where nearly or more than 40% of the employment is being generated, right? Different flanking data between 40% to 63% of the nature of the jobs which are being generated as agricultural workers and laborers, the problems would be far more higher, right? Though other sets of the employment, they would increase, other sides of the employment, those who are fearing up with the loss of employment because of robotics and automation, they should not fear. Their job is not going. But those who do not know about robotics also, they should fear. Their jobs would be gone. The basic income facilities which are being created from agriculture, their things would be gone, right?